Hi guys, it's me, Lyndsey. I think this is the first real video that I've done by myself. Richard's tended to do most of the videos, so I thought I would kind of make a video telling you how I'm finding being a mother of two, how I feel emotionally, and just basically tell you how it's been for the last 3 weeks since Elias has been born. Hello. So yes, it's Saturday evening. I've got a bit of Strictly on the telly. Arabella's in bed. Richard's in bed. He's due to be at work at 11:30 tonight, so he's been in bed since probably about 4 o'clock. So, and it's been a bit stressful, I think, this afternoon. It's kind of been the first time I've had to kind of get Arabella to bed, settle Elias down for bed by myself. Richard did help me this afternoon, kind of bath and shower them both. So really it was just basically getting them to bed. But to be honest, it kind of went better than I thought it would. I did kind of rush Arabella off to bed a bit tonight though, which I did feel a little bit bad about. But I'm sorry. It just makes me feel better knowing that I've only kind of got to look after the one, rather than kind of have to split my time between two, because that's been one of the biggest... Ooh, that's a big yawn. One of the biggest things that I'm struggling with, trying to split my time between two children. Arabella understands, I think, to some extent, that Elias takes up a lot of her time, but she still has the moments where she has the jealous moments, and she always wants you to do something with her while she's busy helping Elias with something else. And it's kind of knowing how to deal with that sometimes, which I found very difficult. It has actually got a little bit better, I think, over the last couple of weeks, because I know when Elias was first born, she really didn't know how to take it. I know she's 3, but I was kind of hoping she wouldn't have the jealous streaks. I was just kind of hoping that she would just kind of settle in, be really happy that she's got a brother, look after him, you know, kind of be happy. But she's struggled with it to some extent. So me and Richard have been trying to sort that out, really. Elias, he's been suffering with colic and reflux, so we're having to kind of deal with that. Things have got better. I took him to the doctor's last weekend because the Saturday night I was by myself because Richard was at work. Literally was up every half an hour screaming, purple in the face, just wasn't a happy bunny at all. So I took him off to the out of hours GP surgery, and they told me he was basically suffering with reflux. So prescribed him Gaviscon infant sachets, which to be honest I wasn't quite sure of at first, because I didn't seem to think they were working very well. But I took him back to see our doctors on the Tuesday, just to basically give him another checkup, because things weren't still quite right. And again they said reflux, and prescribed him some ranitidine syrup. So I started him on the ranitidine syrup, and things got worse, to be fair. He was having worse days and he was having good days. So I've put him back on the Gaviscon over the weekend, and I'll contact the doctors again on Monday to see what they can come up with. Up every 3 hours at night to feed, if we're lucky. that is probably one of the worst things that I'm struggling with right now. Richard does help when he can, but I'm one of these people who will leave Richard to sleep and deal with it myself. But my rationale is that if one of us gets more sleep than the other, then that one person will be better off in the morning. But Richard doesn't always see it like that. He seems to think that I should be waking him up to help. But we'll see what happens. Whereas tonight I'm by myself, so it'll be every 3 hours for me. I'm just hoping that we don't have any screamy moments with the reflux overnight, because he tends to wake Arabella up when he has his bad moments, and then I struggle getting both kids back down to sleep, because usually when Arabella wakes up at night, Richard would go into Arabella's room and settle her, and I'll be with Elias settling in him. But tonight there's only one of me and 2 of them, so we'll see how we go. With the waking up every 3 hours, obviously I'm usually absolutely worn out the next day. Someone's getting a bit fidgety. Usually so tired by dinner time onwards till bedtime. But end of the day, it's something I have to deal with. Only thing is, emotionally, I'm not doing that great. I tend to start getting very tearful in an afternoon. And then obviously people start to worry, especially Arabella, who looks at you and asks you why you're crying, mummy. It's very hard to explain to a 3-year-old that you tend to feel very scared that you're by yourself, because you don't think you're going to be able to cope. I'm being silly now. This little one can't help it. And I know Arabella just wants to feel secure as well. And she doesn't kind of understand what's wrong with mummy. A lot of it's tiredness, but I think a lot of it is like the hormones starting to wash out of my system. Richard's a great help when he's at home. It's just when the weekends come, I tend to feel like I'm by myself. My mum and dad have been very good, to be fair. They let me stay at theirs last night so they could help me with Elias whilst Richard went to work. So they had a house full of me, Elias and Arabella at theirs last night. But it was alright. Things went pretty well. A couple of moments where this one was screaming, but you just have to deal with it. No, I'm at home. I'm going to have to learn to deal with it, so we're going to hit it head on tonight. I don't know if other people seem to feel this way when the second child comes along. Sometimes I feel really guilty that I can't always give my full attention to Arabella, and sometimes I feel like I do whinge at her a lot more since Elias has been born. And I think Richard feels that way slightly as well at the moment. I think he feels like he's the bad guy because he'll be the one to discipline her a lot more than me. But our little girl's our life as well, and it's just dividing the time. But I'm sure once Elias gets that little bit older, and he starts to be able to do things and pay a bit more attention to Arabella, then she'll start getting a bit more involved with him. Well, that's the plan anyway, because at the moment she just sees him as this little boy who can't play with her, can't talk to her, just cries a lot, which obviously he does. but she doesn't understand that he can't play with her and communicate with her right now. So we'll see how we go. It's the only thing we can do. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video because I think I'm tending to be rabbling on now. But it's been great talking to you guys, and I know second baby's come along. If anyone's got any tips for me, or just to tell me that I'm doing alright, or to tell me that any tips they've got, then please comment below, and I will take into account what everybody says. It just right now it just feels like I'm being daft, but I will catch up with you guys and tell you how I'm getting on. Maybe Richard can help me do some more of this, give his opinion on how things are going. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye from me, and bye from Elias, who's finally fallen asleep.